Today is a very sad day at the DeBerti shop. My dad and I, we just keep kind of going over the Lincoln Continental, taking in all your guys' advice. By the way, everyone that's commented on any of our past videos, good or bad, you guys have really helped us with the direction on the car. Obviously, this car is extremely special to my dad. We both were going to have finally a project that we restore together. Something that is very unique, rare. Like, this car is extremely rare. Like, you can't even find Lincoln Continentals that are a soft top like this, convertible, with the shape that this car is in. It is absolutely incredible. And that kind of brings me to the point of the whole episode is today we're gonna have to say goodbye to this car. We never really kind of planned on what we're going to do as far as this wide body. This is what has thrown the whole build into a complete 360. And if you haven't watched the wide body episodes or even know what I'm talking about with this, I'll also put a video link up here to where you guys can go back and watch kind of my dad and I's vision about it. You guys sent in the comments, I've gotten comments, I've gotten DMs, I've gotten emails from you guys of links to different Lincolns, and we have looked at all of them. And I am gonna bring up a few, because out of the ones you guys have sent us, as well as some of the ones my dad and I have found, we are going to have to buy one of them. But there is a lot of variables when doing that. So I'm gonna turn the camera to my pops, and he's gonna kind of explain about this car. And then we're gonna just get right to what is the next step, basically.
Yeah, so as Brad was saying, until he threw a great big wrench into our program, it took...
How did I throw a wrench in the program?
Because we were just gonna do a nice, beautiful Lincoln.
We are going to do nice, beautiful Lincoln.
I know, but then you decide to make it look like a pit bull. Anyway, it took almost 4 months to find this car. I flew out to different places. I drove many miles to different places. And whenever you start with a vehicle, if you're going to completely restore it, you want to try to start with a nice, solid vehicle. Problem with the Lincoln is, which is, I didn't even know this until we started messing with them, the whole vehicle is like one piece. So it's a unibody. So the top and everything underneath, it's all, pretty much one vehicle.
It's not like a truck. Like with a truck, you have a frame rail, and you could actually separate the frame from the truck. This car is all one piece. So that's what a unibody means, is the car is the frame. If something's wrong with the frame, you have problems.
The biggest thing about these cars is these old cars trap water. And if you never took care of your Lincoln, you didn't have it, inside a garage or maybe underneath awnings, or they just rust out. And so every single Lincoln, and I mean every single convertible that we looked at, first thing I do is crawl underneath to look at the underside. And every time you've got all this rust that is, it's everywhere. So what does that tell you about the car? If we can't even start on it. How are we going to fix a unibody? Next thing you'd have to do is cut the whole unibody out and then build the frame.
We don't want to get into that. That's what we dealt with the C10. We had to cut that truck apart, and it was just a disaster.
So finding this car was exciting because it doesn't appear that it's ever been painted. It's got all the old weather cracks from the old lacquers that you used to use, which doesn't bug me at all because it's, it all sounds the same when you're hitting on it. But the coolest thing is, look at how old this title is. So this is a one-owner car. Apparently the father bought it and then passed it on, from what I'm hearing, to his son. And it's got all the old service manuals, records.
How cool is that?
Look, that's from 1962.
And the fact that this family that had the car kept all this,
yeah,
I think shows a lot about the car.
All these little, warranty slips, another service policy. Look at the old battery stuff. It's just great looking at this. Old envelope that everything was sitting in.
I noticed a lot of the stuff is all handwritten too.
Oh yeah. So now the problem lies, how do we find another vehicle that's a hardtop that really no one has messed with. And when you crawl underneath it, you don't have all this rust everywhere from the underside. Because I guarantee if the underside is rusted, the rest of the car is rusted. 100%.
Yeah.
When you crawl underneath this car, it's all nice black frame. It's never been, you can tell it's never been touched. It's been taken care of. I mean, this car is nice. There's one rust spot in the trunk lid, which apparently, I guess water gets up in there and it's got a cup in it and it traps in it. And it's normal for Lincolns is usually the first thing that it starts rusting out.
So the biggest reason of going to a hardtop is this right here. The design, this kind of mini wing. You guys could also see in the rendering how it kind of looks. This right here is going to add so much character to this car, and that is the biggest reason why we need to have a hardtop. And a lot of you guys have said, hey, build a hardtop, find a hardtop, and you just can't. It's just not that easy. There's a lot that changes with the hardtop. There's another B-pillar that comes up to meet the hardtop. To recreate this hardtop would cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and the cost is going to get crazy. I think that this car, for what it is a flawless car.
It's a perfect car for someone that wants to restore it. It's not flawless, and I think what Brad's trying to say is it's for what's out there. Every single vehicle we looked at is junk. This, I won't say junk. I just say a lot of rust. This car, I think it's because it's been in one family, and most of its life it's probably been more garage kept. But it does have little flaws in it. You know, the deck lid's got some rust in it.
We have a brand new deck lid for it though.
Yeah, I mean we're into it. You know, right at 30 grand. If anybody wants a perfect car to restore, this is the perfect car to restore. Everything is here for this car.
And I will say it will not be coming with the wide body. That's going to be extra. We actually, speaking of the wide body, we got to try and pull this off as easy as possible because we want to keep the wide body for the new car. So let's pull this off. Right when we pull this off, I want to show you guys just a handful of cars we're looking at, and I want your guys' input to see which one we should get. Now the wide body's off. In my opinion, it doesn't look near as great, but also our wide body didn't look great either. I got the renderings in my head and trying to, go back and forth, but let's let my pop and I sit down and let's show you a few of the Lincolns that we're looking at and get your guys' opinions on. So we're back in our podcast area here at the shop.
Podcast? Don't need headphones?
It's a little, well, let me show you guys kind of what we're looking at here. As you guys can see, we have our camera just kind of sitting on a VP can there, kind of by the C10. Got a lot of stuff around us, but that doesn't matter because all we're here to do is tell you guys kind of and show you the cars we're looking at. So my dad and I are gonna kind of just jump right into it and show you guys some of the cars. And a lot of these vehicles, a lot of you guys sent us, and we appreciate it. And some my dad and I both found in different areas. But the first one we're gonna show you guys right now is the white one.
When you go over it and look, I mean, you see all those bubbles in the door?
Well, they say minimal rust.
Yeah, I mean, and all across that roof rail, that's what gets kind of scary is that's all rust that's underneath that paint. So
well, look at the deck lids.
Yeah. This is the problem with Lincolns. It's not like someone did not take care of it. It just probably sat out in the sun, sat out in the rain, sat out in the winter, and not only does it that bad, if it's that bad on the top.
Oh, imagine the underneath.
So the underneath of these things, as soon as I say crawl underneath, I want to see the underside, the whole unibody literally gets rusted out of these vehicles. And once that unibody's gone, I mean, it's a job. It's not like you could just replace the floor pan and underneath or part of the unibody. You can't.
That one was, I think, at $20,500.
Yeah, and visually looking, it looks insane. It really does. And most of them do. But check this one out. This one is a black primered one, and it wasn't actually that much. I think it was under 10 grand.
Yeah, but this one was rusted.
Yeah, and
but at 10 grand, it's like, all right, what could we fix? Could you fix the rust for a minimal amount?
But hold on, it's not the surface rust and the rust on the panels. It's the whole underneath because we just don't have time to rebuild the underneath of the vehicle.
You could get sorry to cut you off, but with the amount of rust that are on some of these cars, the lower obviously the price is, the better for everyone. But if you find a car like even this black one that we're looking at right now that you guys could see, you know, you even look at like the rust on the rear lower by the tire, like all that stuff, the front fender well. It is so hard and so time consuming to fix rust. You're dealing with rust panels, so you're having to cut them out, you're having to put patch panels in, then you're having to re-body work everything, and especially underneath the car, if the car is rusted like that, well, now we're going through and now we're messing with structural things. And it's something that we did with the C10. We hated it because it's like, that's why we cut the whole truck apart. And a lot of you guys wonder why did that take the perfect truck and just completely cut it apart? Well, the problem was
floor panel fell out of the truck.
Yeah.
Literally fell out of the truck once we started undoing the cab bolts.
Yeah, and when we started on one panel, like we started doing patch panels at first, and we would do one, and the second we had welded or something would pull, move, and it would crack this other side, and it was just a nightmare. So we're just not wanting to go down the side of having a bunch of rust. That's why, like, even with the car my dad found, yeah, it was more money. I saw a lot of comments saying, you guys overpaid, you overpaid. And the thing is that you gotta outweigh what we overpaid for. You could get just as much money in that car right there if it's rusted, rather than just finding one, taking the time.
Well, you would pay more. You would pay more trying to fix it, because it's going back to the unibody. It's all one vehicle, so you could find the panels for the outside, but the underside, when the underside is all rusted real bad, you can't. There's almost nothing you could do.
Yeah, it's tough. That brings us to another one here. My cousin Cody out in California actually found this one. This white one, he would have let go for $4,000, and
actually that would be a good buy for $4,000.
Yeah, but you start looking close. At like the deck lid, you could tell that they started cutting out. Supposedly underneath the car is in pretty good shape, but again, that just becomes problems. It's just, that could be a car that we work just on the rust for the next 2-3 months. And again, you guys got to imagine, it's just my dad and I, so it's like we don't have all the time in the world. We still got to have our real job, which is, you know, doing construction and other things. We don't have time to just work on a car all day.
Really, what our goal is to get a car that has a perfect or near perfect unibody that's not all rusted out underneath, sandblast it, recoat the whole underneath, and then we'll rebuild the front and rear suspension to how we want that car to sit. I don't know if we could find one as nice as the convertible, because underneath that car, I mean, really all we have to do is just sandblast it, undercoat it, and that car is ready to go. But I don't know if we've looked at, I'm actually tired of looking at these Lincolns. Every single Lincoln to this day, even the ones that look unbelievable on the outside, and what I mean unbelievable by pictures, the underside has been so rusted. Then we start tapping around on all the panels, and it's been covered.
So you guys have seen some of the cars we've showed you. Again, there is 30 plus of these that we've looked at, dissected, tried to figure out. We're gonna show you 2 more. This next one it's all black. It's in Florida. It looked incredible. It looks incredible.
And the car visually looks nice. The problem is he went underneath the car with the FaceTime, and all I see is rust down each side of the unit.
You can kind of see just all the little rust, and a lot of the pictures they look so good from afar. And that's why my dad had to FaceTime. Once my dad FaceTime, he realized, oh man, this is not the car for us. And then that brings us to the last car. We still don't know if it's a car for us. For the next episode, we are going to have a new car here. We have to start this project in the next few weeks, so we have no choice. So with all these cars, we don't know which one we're gonna get. It could be some of the cars we're showing you guys, or it could be a new one. But this last car, this one looks pretty good. This one's the problem with it is it's all the way in California. So you could tell it's been repainted. It's all gloss black. Appearance-wise, the car looks to be a very nice paint job, but anyone could make a cake pretty with a lot of frosting on it. So,
well, this guy seems pretty legit though. He went through every little detail on the vehicle, And
there is some rust on it.
Yeah,
It's
got a couple little things, but the underside of it, again, is the most important thing for us.
Yeah.
As much crazy as that sounds, the underside, who usually cares about that?
All we care about the bones of the car, and we care about the body, because the body we're not going to change. We're just adding to the body. So even when the wide body's on the car, you're still going to see the factory beautiful parts of the car. It's not like we're not even going to cut up whatever car we use. We're only cutting out basically where the tires are going to come through.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, we're not really cutting up the car. Just the whole rear quarter panels where the tires come through.
Just that little circle.
Okay, once we cut it, there's no going back.
If you guys think any of these cars we've talked about could be a good fit, you think, for the build, please let us know. But I think probably what we're leaning towards is spending a little more on a nicer car rather than not spending a lot and having a car that we're going to have more money in fixing than what it's actually even worth. So all I know is you guys have been just a huge help for my dad and I. It's the input with the car kind of went crazy. That was a fun little exercise we did with the wide body, and just trying to show you guys could do anything with I think that was $100, $120 of material that we played with the car. And
I don't even know if it was that much.
Yeah, because we didn't use it all.
But if you guys, we do take your guys' ideas in. So
100%.
Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
We're kind of stumped on some wheels.
I don't know what wheels.
Yeah, if you got anything in that area that, shoot us some pictures of some stuff that you might think looks good, or maybe you've seen some wheels on another Lincoln that look really good, and maybe we could do even maybe a one-off set or something. I don't know what we'll do on that. And color. I know you were talking about colors before, but any input like that. I know this video is like, oh gosh, you guys are just doing a handful of things on the car, but it's a process, and we're trying to bring you through the entire process, because people just see a car show up and they don't understand what it took to get it. And we've been on the hunt for almost 4 weeks.
Yeah, since
solid.
Yeah.
I mean, we've spent some money flying and.
Yeah. The thing is we want to show you guys our day to day, right? So like, not everyone builds cars, so they don't understand this type of process. And if one day you go to build a car with one of your family members, or maybe on your own, you might remember this video and be like, all right, so why was it so important that they're looking underneath the car, looking at this, checking that? And there is a reason. We don't want to lose our money. If you guys do have color options, we honestly are at that point to start picking colors going forward. So drop maybe like your top 3 colors down and let us know kind of what you're thinking on that. But next episode, 100%, we will have a new car here, because we have to make a decision
quickly.
So if there is other cars you guys have still see come up, brand new listings, send it here. We have about 4 days until we have to film and kind of get the car here and start working on it, and that's it. I mean, that's it. Again, this was a simple episode, nothing really to it, but this is just the realistic the
process.
Yeah,
this is a process that a lot of people are asking for. So I know it wasn't like overly engaging with everything. But
it's going to be though.
Yes.
When that car's here, it is going to be so cool for you guys to follow. Just the fabrication, the creativity, and everything like that. But you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching. I know our podcast is super professional, and that's how we keep it.
Our podcast.
Later.